The ocean is calm, the sky is clear, and a U.S. Navy warship cuts through open water at 10 knots. But for a brief moment, this steel giant is no longer operating as a warship. Today, it becomes something else entirely. A place of silence, a place of honor. A sailor has died while deployed at sea. Far from any coastline, beyond the reach of any harbor, the crew prepares for one of the Navy's oldest and most sacred traditions, a burial at sea. I'm Mike, and I'll be your guide here on Navy Network. Today, we're taking you inside a ceremony carried out with absolute precision and even greater meaning. When there's no way home. When a sailor dies during deployment, there is no fast return to land, no aircraft waiting offshore, no family standing on a pier. Out here, surrounded by nothing but water and sky, the Navy must shoulder a responsibility few civilians ever think about: honoring the fallen when the sea itself becomes their final resting place. A burial at sea is never routine. It happens only when returning to land is impossible, or when it was the sailor's final wish. Many veterans request it in advance. For them, the ocean wasn't just a workplace, it was home. The first steps of the ceremony. The moment the death is reported, protocol activates instantly. The Navy Casualty Office is contacted. Notifications begin. Documentation starts. Every detail logged with precision. The fallen sailor is transferred to a secure compartment aboard the ship. If refrigeration is limited, the ceremony must occur sooner, because even in death, the Navy's duty remains the same: preserve dignity. A designated burial detail begins preparing the body quietly and respectfully. The sailor is washed according to established procedure, then dressed in full dress blue uniform, rank, gloves, medals included. Appearance still matters, because honor still matters. While the burial team prepares the sailor, the ship's chaplain writes a short service, direct, non-dramatic, rooted in tradition. Meanwhile, the bosun's mate rehearses the ceremonial team: positions, pacing, the ceremonial pipe, the ship's bell. Their movements are practiced long before the ceremony begins. If you honor the sailors who stand watch far from home, drop one word in the comments: respect. Preparing the ship. Before the ceremony can begin, the ship itself must be transformed. The officer of the deck issues the command. All hands clear the weather decks. Non-essential operations are halted. Weapon systems are secured. Flight operations, if active, are temporarily suspended. Even engineering spaces reduce unnecessary noise to minimize vibrations traveling up through the steel. A burial at sea requires stillness, not symbolic stillness, but physical stability. The ship slows to about 5 to 10 knots. Then the helmsman adjusts course, turning the vessel broadside to the wind and waves. That alignment reduces rolling and pitching, making the deck as steady as possible. For the first time in hours, sometimes days, the ship feels almost motionless. There is no broadcast, no background chatter, just a disciplined silence that spreads from bow to stern. During this pause, the crew sweeps and clears the designated area, usually the flight deck or the fantail. Every sailor knows exactly where to stand, according to a diagram issued ahead of time. Because the moment the ceremony begins, there must be zero confusion and zero movement. For the next hour, the warship becomes something else, a vessel of farewell. The formation of honor. One by one, sailors take their positions along the deck, feet shoulder-width apart. hands clasped behind their backs, eyes forward. It doesn't matter if you're a junior enlisted sailor or a senior chief. The posture is identical. Silence is part of the ceremony. Stillness is part of the respect. At the front stands the executive officer, motionless in full dress uniform. Beside him, the senior chief petty officer. The chaplain waits near the shrouded remains. The honor guard, selected for their precision and bearing, stands ready. The captain does not join the formation. His role is different. He observes from a slight distance, present but apart, embodying the weight of command without intruding on the ritual. There are no spoken commands now, only the natural sounds of sea and wind. A formation this still, aboard a ship this large, is not easy. But every sailor holds their position. This is the Navy's posture of unity. The ceremony begins. The first sound is not a voice. It's a whistle, sharp, high, unmistakable. The boatswain's pipe cuts through the wind, 3 tones carried across steel and water. It's not for the crew. It's for tradition. A ritual older than radio, older than radar, older than most ships afloat today. Then comes the bell. 3 strikes. A solid brass bell polished to a mirror shine, its tone echoing across the formation and disappearing into open ocean. Only after that does the chaplain speak. His voice is calm, steady, without theatrics. He reads the name of the fallen sailor, their rank, their years of service. Nothing more. This ceremony is not about storytelling. It is about recognition. A short prayer follows. Simple words drawn from scripture or naval tradition. We commit this body to the deep, to rest in the embrace of the sea. For sailors without a specific faith, the chaplain adjusts the language, but never the dignity. Every phrase is deliberate, every pause intentional. This is one of the few moments at sea where time feels like it stops. The final journey to the sea. At the conclusion of the prayer, the honor guard steps forward. 6 sailors in full dress uniform lift the shrouded remains with exacting control. Their movements are slow, synchronized, almost weightless despite the gravity of the task. No one rushes, no one stumbles, no one needs to be told what to do. The team carries the body to the ship's edge, usually the aft deck facing open sea. Every step is practiced, every turn deliberate. Before the final committal, the U.S. flag is removed. Not quickly, not casually, but with precision. Folded into a perfect triangle, 13 folds, each one symbolizing the values of service and sacrifice. The stars face outward. The stripes rest inside. The flag will be preserved, logged, and delivered to the sailor's family, either in person by a uniformed officer or at a separate ceremony. It is never buried. It is never lost. With the flag secured, the honor guard returns to position. All eyes remain forward. No movement breaks the formation. The captain gives a single nod. That's all. No words, no orders. Just a gesture that carries the full weight of command. At that cue, the burial team tilts the casket or shroud forward. There is no dramatic music, no final speech. Just gravity and the sea. The body descends below the surface, disappearing into the deep. No one speaks. No one moves. The ocean closes over the fallen sailor, as it has for centuries. The silence that follows. The formation holds. No one shifts their weight. No one drops their gaze. Every sailor remains locked in position, facing the open sea where their shipmate has just disappeared beneath the waves. There are ceremonies on land filled with music, words, visitors, folding teams, and rifle salutes. But out here, there is only silence. Not the silence of grief, the silence of discipline, a silence that honors without speaking. In some ceremonies, the chaplain may add a final line. May this sailor find calm seas and a safe harbor beyond. In others, nothing more is said. The absence of words becomes part of the ritual. There is no ground to lower a casket into, no headstone, no flowers placed on a grave. At sea, the moment itself, the posture, the stillness, the collective breath, becomes the memorial. The ceremony isn't completed when the body disappears beneath the surface. It's completed when the silence has done its work. Only after several minutes does a final sound break the air. A single whistle. A signal as old as naval tradition itself. The ceremony is over, but no one moves. Not yet. Not until the commanding officer gives the two words that return the ship to its mission. Carry on. The ship moves forward. Once the captain speaks, the formation dissolves with the same precision it formed. No rush, no disorder. Every sailor steps off the deck in the exact sequence laid out beforehand. No one talks. No one needs to. On the bridge, the helmsman eases the throttle forward, from 5 knots to 10 to 15. The ship rises slightly as the engines return to their rhythm. Weapon systems reactivate. Radars spin again. Flight operations resume. A warship becomes a warship once more. But for a short moment, it was something different. A vessel of farewell. Deep inside the ship, the folded flag is logged and secured for delivery. The honor guard returns to duty. The chaplain steps below decks. But the memory of the ceremony still lingers on the steel. Not in sound or inscription, but in the silence that came before. There are no monuments out here. No markers, no visible place to return to. But for sailors, it doesn't feel incomplete. The ocean was home, a place of routine, watch rotations, steel decks, and constant motion. To be laid to rest in it is not strange. It is fitting. A burial at sea isn't about spectacle. It isn't about symbolism. It's about discipline, precision, and the unwavering idea that even in death, honor must be upheld. Every movement, every fold, every step, every second of silence is the crew's way of saying one final thing without speaking. You mattered. You served. We remember. And then, as always, the ship carries on.